Hello again. So just thought I'd make another quick video about the Tesla Model Y. So this is the car that I've acquired. It's brand new, so it's got less than 1,000 miles on the clock. Great car. Apologies for the state of it. I did get it clean, but driving here managed to go through some puddles and it's got absolutely filthy again. But just thought I'd give you a quick overview, a quick look around the car and talk about it a little bit more. So yeah, really good, really impressed with this car so far. I think it looks great with the black wheels. So I went for the pearl white with the optional wheels, which you can buy, the 20-inch wheels I think they are. So it's the long range version, it's not the performance version. But wow, the acceleration in this thing is phenomenal. I mean, I've been lucky enough to drive and own some really quick cars, but this thing goes like stink. It's quite incredible, the speed that you can accelerate at. And obviously you've got all the technology inside. So if I just show you, obviously you've got the front and rear boot on it being an electric car. So the front boot space, very useful amount of space in there. I think it's about 100 litres from the top of my head, but you could, for my money, get your wellies in there, maybe put a takeaway in there. It's not going to stink the car out. But yeah, nice little useful space at the front there. And then at the rear, obviously, you've got the main boot, and that is pretty large. It's not enormous. I've owned cars with bigger boots, but it's pretty decent. You've got this additional space here as well. You've got these little side pockets, which you can get, as you can see, I've got a big blanket stuffed in there and some other bits and pieces. And you've got the rear shelf on the back as well, which improves the sound deadening in the car. But yeah, I'm really impressed with this thing so far. First time I've owned an electric car. I was always a bit skeptical about electric cars. I was like, well, what's that experience going to be like? But then the more I thought about it, I thought, well, actually, the journeys I make, I do the school run, go to the shops, visit friends and family. So most of my journeys, I would say 99% of my journeys are less than 10 miles. And then, I've got family that live sort of 70 miles away. I've got a family that live 230 miles away, but those trips are few and far between. So most of the trips I do are very, very local and quick and easy. They're not long distance trips. So it got me thinking. So I'm thinking, well, okay, electric car ownership, you can obviously plug your car in at home. If you're lucky enough to have a driveway, you can plug your car in at home and charge the car up there. You would, of course, get a fast charger. You're not going to, well, some people may do, but you wouldn't run it off a 3-pin plug. You would get one of these fast chargers. So I've got a 7 kilowatt charger at home. It's an Indra charger. It's got a very good app. It's got something called solar matching mode as well. So you can charge your car at, it wants 1.5 kilowatts of electricity in order to charge your car off your solar panels. We're fortunate enough to have some solar panels, so we can charge the car off that if we're generating enough electricity, obviously. It's the winter time at the moment. I haven't really been in a situation where I've had decent enough sunshine to make use of that, but yeah, a nice little feature. But I do have one of these overnight cheap electricity tariffs. So rather than paying, whatever we're paying at the moment, 34, 40p per kilowatt, I can get a 12p per kilowatt off-peak rate between midnight and 5 a.m. That's via British Gas. That is, a good way to charge the car. So you can set the car up via the app to start charging at that time, to make use of that cheaper electricity. So that's a really good little thing that you can do in order to run your car a bit cheaper. And I think I saw somewhere that they reckon about 1,000 miles costs you about 30 quid to charge the car at home if you're on the sort of 34p per kilowatt electricity tariff. I think that's about right. Maybe it's a little bit conservative, but you're obviously going to be saving a lot of money over petrol. One thing to bear in mind though is if you're doing a long journey, as I say, I do probably 5-6 long journeys a year, if that, and we're talking 70 miles there, 70 miles back, so I wouldn't need to use any kind of Tesla superchargers. I do probably one journey a year when I'd have to do that, but the Tesla superchargers are excellent. So I made use of those recently. Did a trip to Wilmslow, and it's about I think it was about 190 miles there, 190 miles back. So obviously I would need to use a Tesla supercharger, given the fact that the car's range is only quoted at 315 miles, I think it is, for the long range. And obviously it being winter time, it's going to be a little bit less than that. So I did get to use the Tesla superchargers the first time, and I tell you what, talk about painless and simple and easy. You literally, the sat nav is clever enough to work out that you'll need to supercharge, and then basically you are guided by the sat nav to the supercharger. It takes you right to the stalls in the service station if you're going to a service station. So I charged up at I think it was Keel Services on the M6. So it takes you right to the stalls. You reverse up to the Tesla chargers, and then you've got two different types of leads that you can take out. There's one smaller lead, I can't remember the exact, if it's CCS or whatever it is, and then there's a slightly chunkier looking lead. So this Model Y takes the chunkier lead, and you plug it in, and that's it. You don't have to pay, you don't have to set up any payment or type in any details. It automatically knows who you are through your Tesla account. You have to associate obviously a credit card with that account so it can take money off you. But yeah, talk about painless. You just plug it in, and then you're charging at like 300 miles per hour. So for every hour you're plugged in, you're taking on 300 miles of range, which is incredible. So I was literally there 10 minutes for a bit of extra range. Very painless. And I mean, if you're doing a long journey, for my money, if I'm driving 200 miles, I'm going to want to stop for half an hour, maybe go to the toilet, have a coffee, relax a little bit. So yeah, just went and got a Starbucks, sat in the car, watched a bit of YouTube on the screen, and charged the car up, and then continued my journey. So I'm pretty impressed with the electric superchargers, I have to say. Very, very good indeed. So I think the supercharger I used was 150 kilowatts. They do also these 250 kilowatt chargers as well. I mean, they must charge at a phenomenal rate. The one I used was about 150 kilowatts. There are some things you need to remember when you're charging at superchargers. You kind of need to have your own separate charger if you can. So don't sort of charge up right next to the other guy. Leave a bit of a space if you can. Because you get a better charging rate for yourself and the other person who's charging. But yeah, really good, really impressed. But yeah, I mean, I looked at electric cars. I considered the Mercedes EQC, I think it is. I think it's a really nice looking car. It's probably one of the best looking electric cars on the vehicle. I had a look at the Audi e-tron as well, but things like boot space, things like range, acceleration are important to me. And also, being a first time electric vehicle driver, I wanted to make sure that I'd got a decent charging network available. And the Tesla system just kind of seems to take all the pain and worry out of it. So that trip to up north was really easy, and I charged again on the way back down, I think at Warwick Services. It tells you how many charging stalls are available. So yeah, really easy. And I consider those two other cars, but went for the Tesla Model Y. This one has a massive amount of boot space. You've got the Tesla supercharging network, and you've got that great acceleration, and the technology is pretty good as well. Okay, well, thank you for listening. I'll make another video shortly about the sort of experience of the Tesla itself and the interior and the technology, etc. But thank you for listening. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and feel free to leave any comments.